feel uncomfortable for you to sell. And so I believe that diving into the bigger intricacies of being able to package your deals is actually extremely important.
Want what's going to fail, what's going to work, so you can duplicate, replicate those types of results that were successful, and obviously learn from the failure ones.
And to anyone who's new, to anyone who, like Shane is mentioning, might be, I love it. Did that mug just say girl dad? All right. Good morning or good afternoon to you 1%ers out there. Welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin.
And I'm Shane.
And today we're going to talk about our packages, specifically the size of them.
Oh, boy. And we're out.
No. Nobody, do not let them edit that out.
That's funny.
So, yes, for all of you out there wondering, both Shane and I have different size packages for different intricacies and different people that are interested in different things. And Shane is beside himself right now. He doesn't even know what to say.
I'm just going to let you run with it.
Run with my package or yours?
Oh, boy. Here we go. So what it's trying to say is how to package your services appropriately in your business. Like, although maybe he's talking about different packages. I don't know. I can't tell where Vince head's at all most of the time.
Appropriately in your business, but inappropriately on the podcast. So, with that being said, for any of you business owners and entrepreneurs out there, if you are in any type of a coaching, consulting, or honestly, there's a lot of different businesses that I would say could actually have packages. Is that correct or incorrect, right?
Yeah.
So I would say it's actually applicable to a lot of people. And I think a lot of the times it's interesting because people get nervous around the size of a package and like, oh man, is somebody going to buy this? It looks like it's going to be too much, or it might even feel uncomfortable for you to sell. And so I believe that diving into the bigger intricacies of being able to package your deals is actually extremely important. Funny enough, that was the entire, that was half of a coaching session that I received from Tony Robbins live at one of his Business Master events when he picked on me out of the crowd of over 10,000 people. And a whole part of it was, what is your package? And I told him, well, I don't have one. And he goes, why don't you have a package? You're a coach. And I said, well, I'm formerly a therapist. And as a therapist, the therapy model is we don't sell packages. So how does therapy work? Well, you go in, you tell your therapist, yeah, I want to see you. Okay, cool. Would you like to meet next week? Maybe. I'll get back to you. Or, yeah, sure. Or I think once a month or once every 2 weeks is fine. And that's the therapy model. So that's what I was selling to people when I first started as a coach. And then when I got confronted by Tony Robbins and he's like, well, what's your package? I'm like, I don't have one. I just let people see me if they want to. He's like, that's a horrible business model. You need packages. And so here we are years later. Tony, thank you so much. I have packages. They're quite large and people love them. Shane, what about you? Tell the people about your package.
Oh, boy. Well, I would say that to price out your services, your packages appropriately, especially it depends on where you're at in your business. If you're just starting and you want to get a rough idea, my advice would be to go to your competitors and see what they're charging and what they're providing. Because what it comes down to is your clients are going to justify your pricing model based on the value that you're going to give them. Now, for me personally, I always believe in being the best of the best, the cream of the crop, a league of my own. So my prices are the Rolls Royce of packages as far as virtual assistants are concerned, because there's not one company out there that does what we do. So that would be my second piece of advice, is be in a league of your own. Find out who your competitors are, do what they do, but better, and provide more. Because at the end of the day, whatever you charge, clients will overcome or they'll accept it because you bring more value to the table. So when you're first starting out, figure that out. If you've been in your business for a little while, I've probably increased my prices. The VA Group's been around for about 5 years now. I probably increased my prices, no exaggeration, 12 times. 12 times I would increase my prices. And I swear to God, I increased my prices last night. When you see trends in the economy and obviously you're getting a lot of sales, you have to justify it. So I increased my costs. I increased our onboarding fee, and we had 3 sales this morning, which was a great day. So knowing that and understanding that, you need to justify based on value and cost, increase and decrease. There's only been one time that I've ever decreased my costs, and that was last year. I'm not going to blame the economy or what was going on, but it was a rough, stagnant year. So I also recommend doing that as well. It's not a plea of, I need help. I have to lower my prices to get more sales. It's almost when it's just unaffordable, it's just unaffordable. So you have to really realize the prices there.
Well, here's a question though. I want to jump in there because here's a question about that. Is it unaffordable, or is it just that it's hitting the wrong demographic? Because there's people out there with such absurd amounts of money that technically anything can be affordable, right? There's people out there paying more for a car than an entire street block of people who are buying houses.
I think it's your audience though, right? And that's really what you're talking about here.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not selling Lamborghinis and G-Wagons and, $10 million homes. I think my package and my services calls to the vast majority of people, because my audience I know is business owners between, themselves, solopreneurs, all the way up to, 500 people, 500 employees. That's my sweet spot. So I know with them, they're budget constraints, but they also care about value. But when my numbers drop by 50%, I know now it's okay. They're coming back into, I need to hold, I need to spend wisely, and I need to make sure that I'm getting the best bang for my buck, which I know is still the values coming in, but I feel like that's when you have to justify things, right? Just like anything in the world.
Yeah, that's, it's really interesting. So I can't remember. I think it was Tony Robbins. And if you people cannot tell yet, I have built a decent portion of how I go about this, modeling off of someone who's doing what I'd like to do, right? And that's, to anyone listening, by the way, that's an actual thing in psychology. It's called modeling. Go find someone who's achieving the results you want, figure out what they did, reverse engineer it, apply your own techniques, methodologies, and do whatever to then get to the same result, because success leaves clues. Amen. And so for me, when I was looking at, how do I try to package my coaching in a way that makes sense? And I was told, again, think it was Tony Robbins, but can't remember. I was told that if you can't promise a 10x ROI from your coaching, then you have no business charging whatever you're going to try and charge, right? Because people need to be able to feel like they are going to get a return. Now, the interesting thing about coaching is that it isn't always super tangible like that. However, there's always this tell that you can see people's results sort of start to speak for themselves if the coaching's actually working. Right. And it may not be in the ways of like an actual numbers in front of their face. Like one of my clients, through helping him with his communication skills, through helping him with his presentation skills, he was able to, now he was fundraising in a startup, and through working with me, he was able to raise $250,000. That was, let me tell you, what he paid me, he made probably over a freaking 100x ROI, because at the time I was still charging very cheap. I think my session price was like $200 a session. And, the package was maybe 2 to 3 sessions per month. And he stayed with me for a few months, or maybe it was like 6 months or a year. I can't even remember. It was a while back. But regardless, let's just say I was charging him $600 a month. 10 months would be $6,000. And the other 2 months, that's another $1,200. So let's just say he stayed with me for a year, $7,200. He raised $250,000. What kind of an ROI is that? Now, that's in that specific scenario. But then you have other clients of mine who their efficiency has went up and they were able to generate more in their business. because not only did their efficiency increase, which allowed them to focus better, it also helped with their leadership teams, which allowed them to focus better, which then trickled down to the everyday employees, which allowed them to do something different, and so on and so forth. So whenever I look at a service like mine, or even some other people's, I think one of the biggest things that I look at, and Shane, you could definitely weigh in on this, is how do you want to base pricing? I like to look at it as, I believe you'll get a massive ROI from my service. So that's how I charge. I'm looking to give you a 10X. Like if you invest X into me, you should be able to generate X if you're following X, Y, and Z and we're hitting X, Y, and Z goals, right? So I don't know what your thought is on package and pricing.
Well, I think it's just comes with value in general, right? When you pay any dollar amount for anything, you go to a restaurant, you pay $15 for, a hamburger and French fries, you're expecting to get a hamburger and French fries, right? If it's the best damn hamburger you've ever had in your life, that's a bonus. But guess what happens? They're going to come back. They're going to have repeat business. And that's exactly, what you need to strive for is excellency. So I agree with the 10X mindset, and that's exactly what you want from your coach, is that if they believe in that, they're going to get you to believe in that. And that is already what you're looking for. You're both going to be sharing on the same page. Because if this is not in your whatever dream board or goals, milestones, aspirations, then you're not going to achieve it, right? If you're a pessimist, you're going to be a pessimist, right? But you have to envision that. If you believe that you're going to get it with your coach, then you're already a step forward than what it should happen. Now, as far as my packages, right, I'm representing Restaurant Secret Weapon, an old marketing company that I had. It's the same thing, right? If I think, hey, I'm going to be able to execute, these marketing plans for you, and you're going to be able to see a great return from this. If I show you what I've done for other restaurants and you say, you're no different, right? I'm going to get the same results for you. You're going to buy. It's as easy as that. So it's the same thing of believing and then coming back after that and providing value to making you a happy repeat customer.
I could definitely agree with that. I think the other part too, when you are creating packages, let's jump to this part of the packages, because I think this is also extremely important. You should be able to notice in your own business what the best trends and curves are, and that's why you create packages of lengths of time, in my opinion. Like for me, I make people sign on for a minimum of 3 months because I know it takes a certain period of time to get to a certain level. And I don't want to just work with you for a month. And I don't want to just see where we go for a week or whatever the case is. I want to actually have the time to focus. And here's another piece, is I want people that are committed. I don't want to just sit here and be like, oh yeah, we could do a month by month or this or that. I've come to see, for instance, in my business, the best results are usually had in a 6-month mark. And so I always like to have people come on, do at least 3 months to try out and see if we're a good fit in their synergy, then go to the 6-month mark and then see if we want to still keep jamming from there. So I think when you're building packages too, you have to consider, how is it that your industry flows that makes sense for you and the customer to actually work together for an extended period of time and create that commitment between each other, because it makes sense. Like Shane, what would you say? Now I know obviously it's different, right? Because in your company, you're not training the VAs, you're not heavy-handed building out your VA and sending it to someone. You're just giving someone a VA, right? And then what they're going to do with that VA is up to them. But if somebody really puts in the time, the effort, the training, where would you say that maybe is a great sweet spot for a VA to assimilate perhaps into a culture? Like, have you ever noticed any of those trends?
So I think I can answer your first question too, and then I'll bring it back to your second one.
Sure.
This is Vin's the difference between a seasoned vet and somebody who is brand new. When you're brand new, especially in marketing and coaching, you're just trying to get money in the door, right? Because you want to test out the process, which in my professional opinion, I think you should do, right? I would offer my marketing services for free if I'm brand spanking new. Why? Because you want case studies. You want what's going to fail, what's going to work, so you can duplicate, replicate those types of results that were successful, and obviously learn from the failure ones. So somebody like Vin, somebody who is charging 3 to 6 months, knows already what it's going to take, right? The first month is, as far as coaching or marketing, whatever, it's trial and error. Let's see what happens. Let's get a feel for each other. Let's test out these marketing campaigns, see what works, see what doesn't work. The second month, tweaks and enhancements. The third month, okay, we figured this stuff out, right? We know what's working based off of, from trial and error. The third month is where we're going to start seeing good results. So it's the same thing in anything, in my professional opinion, when it comes to business, even in virtual assistants. When you're bringing somebody new to your business, they're new. They don't know you. They don't know how you operate. Just because you're getting a graphic designer, you may want things done a completely different way than what they're used to. It's going to be an adjustment period. And that's what we, stress and talk about the most. They need to understand you and how you operate, because it's different than X, Y, and Z operates. So yes, that kind of answers everything for you.
I love it. I love it. And what's really interesting too is, I don't know if you ever felt it, but I kind of brought it up at the front of the podcast of resistance around packaging. My biggest fear with packaging, and to anyone who's new, to anyone who, like Shane is mentioning, might be, I love it. Did that mug just say girl dad?
My buddy got this for me. And, I actually have a son and a daughter, but my buddy got this to me as a joke. And it's actually the biggest mug, and it actually keeps my coffee hot. And I'm a girl dad too, so I'm going to get you one too, buddy. We're going to be representing girl dad brothers over here.
Listen, I am extremely proud of being a girl dad. I've even said it. I don't give a crap if I have a son or not. I want more girls. If I'm going to have children, I want like 2 more daughters.
Sons are awesome too, man. No, I'm just saying. I got one of each, so I got best of both worlds.
That's fair. I feel like I'll be rough with my son. Like, my daughter falls, I want to hug her. I feel like my son, if he falls, I'd probably be the reason he falls.
Dude, that's literally the case. He jumps on me, we wrestle, like we build blocks together. He'll push me down, but and then hug me and have those good moments, come over and kiss me on the cheek, say, I love you, Dad. It's like the best of both worlds with the son. The daughter, my daughter's only 3 months old, right? So I haven't experienced what you have yet. But I went over to her this morning. I'm kissing on her belly and kissing on her cheek. And, so it's like little princess almost. You want, obviously, you want to protect her as much. The guys, it's roughhouse, and I'm telling you, it's different so far. Once again, my daughter's only 3 months though, so can't really justify it. Talk
about a package deal, huh, folks? Look at that. The kid, the boy, the girl, and the big mug. So let's jump back into this here. With being a new entrepreneur, sometimes there might be fear around, how can I present a package? And I think it's interesting because you might be afraid to present the package. You might be sitting there and being like, oh man, I've never sold something this big. I've never told somebody, yeah, it's going to cost you thousands to work with me, or it's going to cost this, or it's going to cost that. And I get it. It can be freaking scary. But it's interesting because it also sets a standard, and it also creates a new perception of value. If you tell somebody your service is worth $20, or you tell them the package will be $3,000, funny enough, they could stay with you long enough to pay you $3,000, right? By just continuously booking the $20 package sessions. But there's a different level of investment from the client. There's a different level of respect. There's a different standard. And so also utilizing packages as qualifiers and disqualifiers is key. Oh, and this is a big thing. It almost just slipped my mind. You might, if you're struggling with having a package and charging someone for a package, to Shane's point, a few of the reasons you might be afraid is because you haven't validated your offer and you don't know if it's going to be worth that. Another reason is because you don't know result you're trying to promise or trying to get people. You also don't know who your target client is. There's so many things that go into actually the conscious creation of a package that people don't realize, because there's so many gurus right now out there in this world, especially in my space, the coaching space. Everybody's telling you, do high ticket. Why are you going to do low pack? Why are you going to charge $100 a session? Why are you going to charge $50 a session? That's crap. Are you aware you can get $10,000 for a 3-month package? Why would you charge $10 a session, $50, whatever? And then people are like, wow, what's wrong with me that I'm not getting thousands and thousands of dollars? And the answer is nothing, but you also don't know what the hell you're doing, and you shouldn't get thousands and thousands of dollars. So validate your offer. Do not be afraid to start low. I started out coaching, charging $30 an hour. That was literally my rate because that's what I got paid as a therapist. And I thought $30 an hour was great. And the way I increased my pricing was I just kept working with people and they kept staying on. And I kept getting people results, and I kept learning how to convey the value, so much so that I think for me, I don't know, Shane, what your metric was, but for me, for a certain period of time, I was doing every 5 people that signed on, I increased my pricing $50 a session. So if the package was 4 sessions at $200, now the package is 4 sessions at $1,000. Or sorry, 4 sessions at $800, it'd be 4 sessions at $1,000, right? So you can also create your own metrics. You want to just start seeing it. And when people stop buying, it means you're not conveying value anymore. So now again, how do you provide more value? How do you show more value? How do you switch the messaging? So, I mean, there's so much in there, Shane. If you want to jump on any of that, I feel like I'm just going to keep talking. So I'm going to take a pause. Let my man Shanish jump in.
I feel that we're on the same page here, right? It really is just about value. It's starting small and figuring where you're at. I don't think there's anything wrong with once you attain 5 clients to increase your package. But at the end of the day, if I paid $10,000 for something, I'm expecting $50,000 to $100,000 in results, right? It's the same type of thing. And if I'm not going to get it, what does that do? It'll put a bad taste in my mouth for the next person. And then I no longer have trust in this person. And I potentially become a negative review or somebody like that. Now, What does these things do, right? The bad taste is something that the next coach will overcome, because if they're a great coach, it's pretty easy because value, testimonials, reviews overcome everything. That's how you overcome that.
Yeah.
The negative reviews is the worst part for any professional business owner that you could get. We all go to Amazon, we all go to Yelp and look at reviews of the place we're about to go or the thing that we're about to buy. And we're seeing what real life review has somebody given this product or this item. And we're going to look at it. I personally believe, and which is why you go to my company, the VA Group, you're going to see phenomenal reviews, real people. Guess what? Go check out Glassdoor. That's from my hundreds and hundreds of employees that love my company, of what we've built from there. When you have something like that, it's a no-brainer to work for and to work with. And that's really what you want to try to attain. So if you charge these obscene packages, you better be prepared to back it up. And if you don't back it up, you better be prepared for the backlash that you're going to get, which is a negative review. And the people that can afford those 10Ks, guess what? They're going to tell their buddies, their friends to not go with you. And is that really what you want as a coach, as a professional, as a marketer? No. So I would start out small. I would learn from your failures. I would emulate and mirror your people that you idolize, right? Like Tony Robbins or somebody like that, because that's going to get you to achieve your goal in half the time. That would be my recommendation. And increase accordingly. You'll notice when you need to start increasing the prices.
I think those are, first up, those are all great points. And I feel like sometimes these podcasts almost sound boring because we just agree with each other. It's like, Shane, I agree with everything you said. How impactful and exciting is this conversation, eh?
I think it's rare that we actually agree on things. So this is
not true. All right, first up, hold on. We agree on virtually everything. The only thing we disagree on are the things that really matter, like disgusting people putting pineapple on pizza, or absurd people that think plum trees are appealing. Like these are the things that, yes, you're right, they really do matter, but those are the things we typically don't agree on. So
I'm just glad that you said you're right about that, because I am right.
You're right about what?
D, all the above.
How about C, none of the above? And D is I'm right about the above. Anyway, so the biggest thing is that, what we're talking about here is what starts making you go from somebody who is just starting out in business, right, to somebody who can actually get to a place where you can almost create a predictable form of revenue. When you don't have packages, when you don't get people into commitments, you're going to see those results impact in your revenue. You're going to see those results impact in the way that your business is growing or dying, right? So it's super important to really get to the space where you trust that the package is the best thing you could offer these people, but build your package with good ethics in mind. Don't just build your package because you see a dollar sign. Build your package because you know you can get results. And actually, you said this before and I forgot to mention it, and then I forgot it, but now I just remembered what I wanted to say. Yeah, ping pong, exactly. That's how my brain works. It forgets things and then it pops it up at random moments. But you see, yet another thing in common. Yeah, girl dad.
Are we brothers?
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yes.
Sweet. So one of the biggest, damn it, I forgot it again.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, no, it was so good. It was so good for these guys and gals out there. Damn, it was in reference to. Damn, Shane.
Well, I mean, it's okay that you forgot it. I honestly thought this podcast was good how it was. I think we gave a full, encompassing approach about, your packages, starting out small, learning from failures, gradually increasing, learning from your role models and the people that you actually look up to or where you want to currently be.
Wait.
And Vin remembered.
Put me in, coach. Okay, this is the last thing. Because yes, everything Shane said was right. The last piece that I will say is have some sort of, I'm a true believer in this, have like standalone offers that are complimentary, like VIP add-ons to your packages, because people like special experiences. And if you could really create a good one for them, that isn't just the typical like, oh yeah, I get a coach for 3 months or 6 months. Like for instance, I offer 3 standalone things. One of them is massively premium that I don't even talk about. I'll mention it here, I don't care. But it's never something that comes up because it's really for somebody who's going to want to take it. But then the other ones are things that I'll also say, like you could inquire about. Like for instance, when I bring up my pricing brochure, it's like inquire about this, and then people will be like, well, what is that? So I have a breakthrough session, which is a half-day session, and I'm not going to tell you people what's in it because I don't want you to steal my ideas. But it's a half day of really deep work with me, right? And then there's a whole description of what we're actually going to do. I break down what your 4-hour day is going to encompass. And that's a premium add-on on top of a package, right? And then I have a VIP day, which is a full day, an 8-hour day with me. Again, another premium. It's more than double the price of the half day. And we could even increase it more, make it more premium, where I could fly to you. You and I will have a conversation about what it costs for me to travel, but I will come straight to you and we can actually do this in person as opposed to it being a virtual thing. Or you could come to me. I have had people fly into New York and spend an entire day at my house, and I picked them up and really gave them a VIP experience. And then we continued our coaching for the next 6 months. And then I have this last thing, which is called like an emergency weekend retreat, which is more than my year-long package. And I will literally clear 3 entire days to stay with you on any given weekend, drop everything I'm doing and come fly to you and spend 24, 48. What's after 48 hours? How many? 50, 54?
272.
That's probably correct. I mean, you're definitely close. So I'll spend 3 full days with you, including my travel time, etc. And that's for somebody who's having like the worst freaking day of their life or worst weekend of their life, and I will come in and I will emergency triage it with you. I will stay with you. We'll have early wake up times. We'll do breakfast together, gym together. Like, I will literally create your hour to hour, cater your entire weekend, and get you out of your black hole into your empowerment. And that's something I never talk about because most people don't need that. That's something I might offer to somebody who is already in the midst of working with me, but things are really going on in their life. And it's like, hey, I have this thing. We can do this if you'd like. So think about that. Have your packages, but have some really cool VIP experiences that people could also purchase as an add-on, because you will get people that want special experiences, especially if they like your service. They're going to feel cool about it. They'll be like, yeah, oh, you're working with Vin? That's cool. I'm working with Vin. I not only did 6-month commitment with Vin, I did a VIP day. Yeah, it was so cool. He flew into my house, blah, blah, blah. I like literally flew into their house, right? Like I crashed through their window. It was insane. But you know, there's so many things that you could do, and you could get creative with packages and standalones. So that's one last piece of advice I want to give on packages.
Yeah, there's a marketer, Billy Jean, pretty well known over here in the West Coast, San Diego. For those of you that are on the West Coast, you definitely know who Billy Jean is if you're ever in the marketing realm.
Isn't he a singer, Billy Jean?
No. Billie Jean Is Not My Lover. That's by Michael Jackson. It's a song.
Ah, there you go. It's a song.
But he did that essentially too. And he's one of the top marketers, was one of the top marketers for he sold his business, I believe. But you would pay an exorbitant amount, $50,000. And he would come to, obviously, if you're spending that kind of money, you're already successful. But he would come to your business for the entire day, 3 days, weekend, and he would essentially revamp your entire structure. So if you're already, a sophisticated business and you need something like that, I actually just told Vin earlier before we jumped on that I met with somebody who literally, in my opinion, already by 1 hour meeting, I think and I believe that he can revamp my entire sales structure for the better. And I'm already doing great things. So I do believe in those packages. You just have to know the person, believe in the person, that this is somebody who is going to get you those results. Okay. And so I feel that I'm not even at that level where I can offer special pricing, to where Vin's at. But the people that can, those are the ones that you need to hire right away.
Billie Jean is not my marketer, ladies and gentlemen.
Should be.
With that, we are going to wrap today's episode of the 1% podcast, where Shane and I compared package sizes, talked about how you can get the most out of your business, increase revenue, decrease, customer churn, right? Because commitments decrease churn, and basically enhance your business overall. So until next time, people, stay classy, and we're the guys for the 1%. Give us a follow, like, share. Please share. If you think somebody could benefit from our antics, it would mean the world to us for you to send this to somebody, leave a star. How do they do 5-star ratings, right? And hey, let us know. Did you think the podcast was great? Do you want to tell me that I'm making dumb jokes? Leave a comment, right? Any review is a good review. So
we've actually been getting some pretty good reviews on YouTube already. They go right to my email, so I've been reading them. I've been enjoying them, which is pretty good. They're only 1 and 2s here and there, but they're pretty good. I appreciate the engagement.
I haven't seen any of those.
Well, clearly you don't get the updates. I check on them all the time. So,
what?
But I will end with, it's not the size of your package, guys. It's the value and how you use it. At least that's what my wife tells me. So, all right, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you next time. See ya.